Hello, captains. Hello, and welcome in. Chris Nephilim here, reporting from the orbit of Earth in Terran Lexington. Is it a dreadnought? It is a dreadnought. Disguised as the Odyssey class Federation variant. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different, a bit more about Star Trek, a bit more about starships and all that evolves around them. Decided to showcase my idea of how cannon builds could and should look like if you ever want to build a cannon build for starships that look like the era appropriate Star Trek Online. Oh, hello Tyrannotech. Greetings, Captain. I hope you're doing great. It's good to see you. My idea of cannon builds is making them look as they did on screen, and since Star Trek Online is taking place in the year 2411, I thought making them look appropriate as they did on the third season of Star Trek Picard would be the most agreeable, and since this ship has been seen in canon as much as as well as the others that are also already in the game, most of them, I think we're missing just a few. I thought that why not do that myself and show how they can look. How have you been doing lately, Tyrannotech? I do hope that you're enjoying yourself in Star Trek and whatever else you're doing. Have you been busy lately? I assume you have, because I see you very scarcely online. That's of course absolutely fine. So I wanted to do a few fly-throughs of a few TFOs. Oh, Resistance of Starbase 1. Oh, that's agreeable. That's fun. Can't remember last time you opened SDO. Well, that's perfectly understandable if you're constantly busy and doing other stuff. My work has been obnoxious, so I don't have as much of time as I would like to spare for SDO, but you know, life sometimes doesn't give you lemons. I recently learned that lemons aren't something that come up in nature. Food delivered, and what have you ordered? Very curious what you have decided to feast yourself on. I think I'll just... oh yeah, it's a 60k. Wasn't sure. So as Terran Lexington Dreadnought is a Dreadnought, it does have a singular hangar bay. Third one, chicken, other steak bits. Oof, well that sounds very, very good. I'm actually wondering whether I should order something or should I eat something at home. I mean, both options can be eaten at home, it's just like I wonder if I should prep something I have or should I just eat something ordered. I haven't decided yet. Yes, they have announced Esri Dax returning. We haven't seen her since Deep Space Nine, and the actress has not reprised her role in STO yet. But there is also rumor about the Borg King, who is also someone that the team has not worked with yet. So I'm assuming they are bringing another actor from canon, I assume, which is a big assumption. But I do assume that there might be someone who they haven't worked with who is also from canon who has been brought back for this specific role. Speculations evolve around Hugh from TNG and from Picard Season 1. Mirror Hugh, of course, because the Prime Hugh, unfortunately, has been killed by the stupid writers of Season 1 Picard. I'm not going to pretend I did like that choice. I don't think there was any need for him to die, but I think they just agreed that he's going to do a cameo and he's going to be killed off to raise the stakes, perhaps, of the case. I don't know. There wasn't any viable impending doom. Started watching TOS and holy shit, and you saw the fate of Captain Pike. Yeah, his character becomes more tragic in TOS once you know his fate. But that elevates his character in Strange New Worlds. I think that's one redeemable quality, that he knows his fate. We know in Picard, in Discovery Season 2, he is forced to face his future fate. And it just elevates him as a character, and in the events of Strange New Worlds and all the seasons so far. They are shooting Season 3 right now. I'm super excited for that. I think they had a ready script from before the SAG-AFTRA strike, so definitely. Yeah, well, I think TOS is a mark of its time. Those were the 60s. I mean, on one side, you know, I haven't watched the animated series. I wouldn't know. I couldn't bear the stock kind of animation. I don't know. I didn't enjoy. I didn't take it. Yeah, story-wise, then perhaps. Well, it was aimed at a different audience a bit. It was kind of more aimed at teenagers, so I think they restricted the undertone, the sexual undertone that TOS had. If you watch TNG first 2 seasons, they will be very much like the original series, which is kind of a sad thing to see, but kinda Star Trek was freed from that more sexist and unfair, biased approach once Gene Roddenberry passed on, so it's kind of silly. You don't need Earl Grey. You can have coffee black. You can have Aractogino. You can just have plain water. Whatever you like. Hey, DJ. Yeah, we do recommend all kinds of beverages that you like. Oh, shoot, don't come at me. No, you don't. Stop sacking my shields. They're weak as they are. The problem with these Borg is that they're mirror, and they tend to be a bit more treacherous than the Borg we know, because they will stop with nothing but at even self-destructing right in your face, so they damage your ship by creating a volatile warp core breach, which makes them a bit more lethal than the old school Borg that we know from the Next Generation and Voyager. You can still encounter the remnant of those, but they are a little bit something. They are a bit different than what we saw on screen. They are weakened and quite easy to overcome. These Borg, especially in advanced difficulties, can be. Oh shit! Right in my face! Oh god! Almost flew into that one. We also have Assimilators, the vessel that you probably have not seen on screen. It's something that was introduced later on. One of the later, I think, early 2000s Voyager games. I think Star Trek Armada used it. I'm not really sure. I haven't played those games. The only other game from Star Trek I've ever played was Star Trek Legacy. I had on my Xbox 360. I don't believe it's backwards compatible, so I can't play it on my current Xbox, although I do still have the disc. the original disc for Star Trek Legacy. It was an interesting game. It was set in different eras, so you were able to fly different ships, and it's telling a story that's kind of like temporal. As you progress, you see different enterprises encountering the same enemy over and over. As this enemy progresses in whatever they're doing. I don't think I've ever finished it, so I can't tell you much about the story, but I don't think I've ever encountered the assimilators outside of STO. I don't know if they come from Star Trek Armada. No, my shields are off limits to you. I'll give you my spinal lance. See, that was nice, wasn't it? Yeah, these Borgers will use different weapon types, so we'll be using anti-proton beams and transphasic torpedoes rather than all plasma-based weapons as they would in our Prime universe. But again, this is not the Prime Borg. They are coming from a different version of an alternative universe. They will not be the same Borg you know, and they don't have a queen. Allegedly, they have a Borg king, whoever that is. So it remains to be seen. I think the upcoming episode that's coming on next week will tell us more about it. You don't have to be dramatic, Admiral. Whoever it is that mans Starbase 1. This is the same Starbase 1 from Discovery. It's also incorrectly located because it's still above. I don't know what planet this is because this is happening in the Sol system, so I don't really understand which planet this is supposed to be, but that is kind of beside the point. Yeah, stop sucking my shields. That's what. I know that sounds wrong. Just before you guys turned up, I had a few spammers pop in, being a bit annoying. Trying to offer, like the usual start of the conversation. Hi, how are you? Or hi, pal, how are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Piss off. I totally detest these kinds of messages. They clearly want to. Yeah, I'm not your pal. I don't know you. Or like, I appreciate your gaming efforts, and I'm like, I see you for the first time in my life. I haven't seen you ever in my chat, even as a lurker. So I'm pretty sure you're trying to sell me stuff. Goodbye. There's the door. I completely detest that kind of stuff, and I think it's obnoxious. But they will do whatever they like. What's funny is that I think whenever you post hashtag Twitch in your post on Twitter, they will target that and they will find your URL when you're going live and will just pop into your chat. Or they will just DM you straight away, which I find really, really annoying. Twitch should really do something about it. Like, there should be a list of reports and like spammers, but not bots. Most shocking videos account. Yeah, that realm is something else. Some people might ask me, I think someone asked me before, what's the name of my ship? This is the Anisadora. That's the name I kind of commemorate from my other favorite sci-fi franchise, the Alien. Anisadora is a vessel that brings the alien to a Sevastopol station in Alien Isolation, a video game that I also love and adore. This game is actually gonna be 10 years this year, so quite amazing how time flies. I still remember playing it on the Xbox 360 and being amazed by it, and I played it on used for? My ship from the event thing. Ooh, that's a good question. Do I remember? Yes, I think I do. I actually took the Section 31 Dreadnought. I can show you. I don't know if it's going to warp in with the right weapons. There is issues with loadouts this last few months, so I don't really know. But this is the ship I took from the yearly event. Yeah, the weapons aren't there. For whatever reason, traits and weapons and everything just don't get in. But this is the ship. This is the ship that we saw in Discovery Season 2 finale. That was Section 31 Dreadnought, commanded by no one else but Leland, or Control. It is a Dreadnought, which makes it quite a powerful vessel. Is there a possibility you can equip stuff I want you to, or is that something I'm asking too much? I wish it was just easier, like these loadouts are just... They're never working, like you can click on them and nothing happens. No, I never wanted the Dauntless. I really dislike Dauntless design. I never liked the Dauntless from the original one. The design just doesn't agree with me. It looks like very organic alien thingy. I don't like it. It looks like I don't know, like a squid. If you look at it from the top, it's icky. So I never like looked after getting it. I haven't seen a lot of those in space either. It's not a common ship to see, and even after it's been in the game for quite some time, I just don't see it pop up anywhere. So I don't really know. It's lovely that you work, but you don't. Oh, now you work. Okay. Yeah, so this is my setup for the Section 31. Oh, okay, so it was just a Season 1 thing. Oh, that's a sad thing, but again, they will be flying Voyager 2, Voyager A, I think. So that kind of explains it. There you go. Nice and equipped, and extremely powerful and deadly. I am a Psi captain, so I am not chasing DPS, and I am not an extremely powerful captain, but this is my main. This is the tune I have from the very beginning of Star Trek Online and my adventure with it. So, this is the version of the ship I have. It has a combat version of the dark mode. These ships weren't able to cloak in their time, the same way as the Romulan Klingon ships could. But the dark mode is pretty much the equivalent of the normal cloak, because the ship becomes undetectable to sensors, and if you encounter any player or enemy in PvP or PvE, your ship will be virtually invisible to them. This is how that looks in the game. The ship just basically goes into dark mode. It does gain huge stealth factor. Basically, Windows, warp nacelles, deflector, and all the emissions from the warp and impulse engines are cut, so the ship is completely stealthy. Kind of looks like a Miranda, but Section 31 visual to it. It just kind of looks like it was Section 31, a variant of the Miranda class, except it's extremely large. I think it's like a few times the size of the proper Miranda. Another thing it does is that it, like you saw in Discovery Season 2 finale, this ship isn't alone. It has Swarmer squadrons, drone squadrons, which you can launch from your hangar bay. I don't know where they are because they're completely invisible. I think I will see them at the edge of my screen. There they are. Drone squadron. I don't know if I can see them because they will be masking their signature. They are intel vessels, just like oh, there you go. Back up, back up. There you go. There's little tiny bugs. There they are. Very tiny. That's not all. Hey there, 13th Elysium. Welcome, Manly. The other thing the ship can do is that it holds another huge number of those little starships, the same squadrons, on its front hull slash saucer section. They become a shield of the ship, and they will also target your enemy, so they will become a very powerful. Lee! Oh my god. Good one. Good one, guys. You'll be lurking as you work on some art. Well, that's fine. So, basically the ship, what this does by statistics is that they deal phaser and kinetic damage. They will decrease my maximum hit points by 13%, but they will increase my flight speed and turn rate because they just make the ship a bit more nimble, and basically they will also work as a shield, so they will absorb some of the damage that is incoming to the ship. It's quite fun to fly it with the Elite Squadron hangar bay. It is just absolute fun. Of course, you can recall them at any time you please. They regenerate in just not so long time. The launch and land sequences are actually on point with what they look like on the show, so they really made it look accurate. And you can relaunch them just a few seconds after they deploy, so it's actually a built-in ability. It's not a console that you need to pack it with, but it's quite a fun ship. I might actually run a TFO with this ship and see what pops up. I'll run a few Borg ship TFOs. Do like running those. I'll also queue up for Defensive Starbase 1 because it's actually happening within the era of the ship's original time frame and period of time. Good element of this ship, unlike the two other variants of these ships, because there are 3 ships of this kind from Section 31, is that the dark mode can be launched at will, whatever you like it. It's kind of like Battle Cloak variation. So you can, in mid-battle, when you see that you need to cloak, you can just do that. You have to just count it with any incoming damage that is being launched against you might hit you. Dark mode disengages shields because their electromagnetic emissions are still something you can pick up. I'll actually swap the. I want to show the tray and what I'm pressing when I'm pressing. So it's kind of like cluttered with my usual screen. Now my basic loadout is covered weapons, so I'll be using covered beams. I will be using Maelstrom quantum torpedoes, incredibly powerful torpedoes. There's also one kind of these torps from a recent event. What'd you do? Why'd you hide something here from me? That's rude. You're not supposed to. I hate when there is always something that changes in the loadout against your will, against your intention. find it very annoying. There's always these unsafe changes. Unsafe changes. Like, can't they just get around fixing those? Oh, there we go. Hive Onslaught it is. It's gonna be interesting. I don't think I've done that for a while. Interesting, a friendship class. This ship is from Discovery Season 3 and 4, friendship class. It is a carrier. It has double hangars and it's quite fun to fly. I do actually have that one too. Becomes a quite powerful one. It's probably one of the best dreadnoughts in the game. Dreadnoughts carriers, because it's not hindered by being a science vessel, which I find quite useful. It's not very popular. You don't often see it in space. Reason why I'm using Section 31 phasers is probably very obvious. I'm running cannon build, so I want my ships to look as close to their on-screen counterparts as possible. And those are the weapons that came around the same time these ships arrived in the game, so they have been launched as sort of equivalent to their era appropriate starships. Yeah, you're not killing me off that easily. And tractoring me with your tractor beams isn't going to work either. I'm a Psi Captain. I am prepared for your usual weapons and your tactics. Oh shit. So much clutter here. The only thing I wish is that we could use a tractor beam repulsor to repel the debris that's left after all these ships disintegrate. There's so much junk flying around. Yeah, you can try. As an intel ship, can do quite a lot of damage. With the use of Surgical Strikes 3, which I'm using on this ship.
Your efforts are futile. Destroy this vessel, and I will claim another.
Yeah, your tractor beam repulsors aren't making a dent. And that's how you kill the Queen. Yeah, you are eternal until you're not. Ship test successful. Performed better than I actually anticipated. I haven't flown it in a long while, so I'm happy the way it performed. Oh god, they broke the warp out animation again. When will that stop? Okay, I wanted to run Picard era appropriate starship, so I'll swap back to something more appropriate. There are two versions of the Inquiry class. I wonder if it's gonna work. Swapping ships in space is recently very problematic, to call it mildly. Just your loadouts are not equipped, and that's a bit annoying. Just a teensy little bit, but this one worked actually. Surprisingly. So we've seen this ship. Well, this is not exactly the same ship as we saw at the end of Picard season 1. But this is its variant from Picard season 2 and 3. We saw a few of these variants floating in space, in certain number of space battles and space encounters overall. This is its refit version. I have issues with this ship's visual, and well, I'm not even talking about it being inaccurately smaller than it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the size of the Sovereign class, but it's actually not much larger than a Voyager, which is a problem in itself. But like originally, the initial version of Inquiry had a straight line from the saucer to the back. You can clearly see that from the top, this was initially supposed to be like straight line, but for whatever reason they have made a dent, a bump, a step for the ship, which kind of like kills the point for me. I don't know why it was introduced. It makes it look clumsy. It doesn't look pristine and doesn't look well designed. And that the only good thing about it is that it gives you an option for a different deflector dish, which I never had an issue with. The grill was something of, well, it's a battleship, right? It's supposed to be in combat, so protecting the deflector with a layer of some protective grill, I would say boards or something like it. I don't mind it. It's just it makes it more look tactical, more tactically oriented. But yeah, the new deflector, it's fine. It's three-dimensional. You can see that the glowing blue part is actually a bit more forward oriented, but apart from that, I'd see not much improvement. It doesn't look much different from a standard looking Federation starship, so to me it kind of defeats the point of the original deflector. The original deflector was wide, it was large, it showed that the ship means business, but narrowing it down also narrowed down the lower hull, made it a bit more, I don't know, invisible. Less bulky, I guess. They also meddled with the pylons and nacelles a little bit, but it's a good-looking ship. Don't get me wrong, it's quite fun to fly, and it's quite a powerful ship. I can show you on an advanced level of difficulty of a standard city assistant patrol that it can handle itself quite well.
Those Starfleet ships won't last much longer against that Mokai force. Let's join the fight before it's too late.
The story of this mission is that there is this temporary displaced Mokai vessels attacking Cydia system starbase, Federation starbase, and there are some Federation starships which are defending it. That's a ruse. These ships are actually pretending to fight. The Federation starships are actually infected with some sort of virus that makes them misinterpret targets as enemies, even friendlies. So they will fight you rather than fight the actual Klingons as soon as you come in range. It's just a ruse to attract more starships to be probably taken over. This was the time where Ju'ula, the temporarily displaced general of House of Mokai from the Klingon Federation War of 2255 to 56, was trying to expose current Chancellor of Klingon Empire as someone who's actually undermining its power. She was trying to bring attention to that by launching covert strikes to destabilize the quadrant. I'm not sure to which ends she committed atrocities. The fact that she was pardoned so easily, something I can't exactly understand, but those were the choices of the writers for Star Trek Online. You don't have much say in how the story unfolds. As you can see, the ship is handling itself quite well, despite this being advanced difficulty, and this is probably the most lethal group of enemies. And the second, I call it the second wave, but it's technically the first that you encounter after initial fight. It's easy to dispose of for the ship. I used to struggle with this, so I know that I've improved. My builds will be fairly similar to one another. I will be using Protostar phaser beams with a mix of critical damage and critical chance. Damage orientation with the full Protostar set. So dual warp core that came with a Protostar event, with the shield, and with the Omni Protostar beam. It is oriented to maximum damage and efficiency of critical chance. 6 advanced engineering isomagnetic plasma distribution mainfolds, 2 of them oriented for phaser damage, remaining 4 are oriented against just beam damage. They just are slightly lower, but they make it more universal if you have different damage types that you like to deal and you don't have enough resources to build enough consoles of that type. You can just repurpose them, re-engineer them to reflect beam weapon damage and cannon weapon damage, torpedo weapon damage, whatever you need to be more universal. Then you can just use the weapons that you have. DPRM, called the Universal Dynamic Power Redistribution Module, comes with the Atlas class. TOS and era Dreadnought with a second piece of that, point defense bombardment warhead, increasing projectile damage and critical chance. 5 of tactical engineering protomatter matrix infusers for kinetic damage improvement and phaser damage improvement. They are the best tactical consoles I can think of right now. This console is a portal weapon that comes with the Shrike starship that is from Picard Season 3. It is the enemy vessel that the Picard crew, the Titan crew, encounters whilst trying to rescue Dr. Beverly Crusher and, unknowingly, her son, Jack Crusher, from an unknown forces that are trying to capture Dr. Beverly's son. And this is the portal weapon stolen from the Maelstrom Institute, which can be utilized in combat if you know when and where to utilize it. I don't use it too often, but the improvement of that console is plus 26.6 of all damage plus 17.1% of damage hits hull capacity, so damage absorption, increasing your ship's hull power, which gives me a total of 123,868 of HP, as you call it. Ship becomes quite harder to defeat because it has increased damage resistance as well. So I call it an optimal setting. Because it's a miracle worker ship slash with intel abilities. It is the legendary version of the Inquiry, which came with a legendary bundle. The ship is capable of utilizing primarily the miracle worker abilities, which give bonuses while activating certain abilities like science, engineering, tactical, that improve your performance. That also gives you cyclical, I don't know this way to pronounce it. Quantum slips from drive, which is improving the duration and speed in sector space. Plus it is Miracle Worker bridge seating. You can just move through that portal to face the ship. Everything moves through these portals. Ship's weapons, fire damage. If you're out of range and you're around 15 kilometers of range against your enemy, you can use the portal just to hit them with your weapons, or you can simply move to their location and attack them from a closer proximity. I find it useful. I don't use it too often though. It requires good timing. It is a useful console if you have to protect a point from being attacked and your enemies are launching at it. Then of course that is useful because you can redirect them from the proximity of the target you're protecting. Get them to the point where you don't want them. You want them to be far away from the target. It's always a last resort thing, but it is useful nevertheless. As you can see, the ship performed gallantly. I do like the frontal grid. I don't know if those are windows. There's like a... hard to say. It kind of looks like a hangar launch bay, but who knows what they really envisioned for this ship. We know very little about the ship's abilities because it wasn't featured as a hero ship, and any other side ship doesn't really get that much coverage and information about its abilities, and the warp out animation is broken again. Who would have thought? Anyway, I do like the ship. I have quarrel with its visuals, which are something of an acquired taste. I think I prefer the original, surprisingly, even with the grill. But there's not much you can do. You can just swap the visuals if you like them. Legendary allows you to get the original skin just as well. So, and if you do have the Avenger class starship, and again we have the issue with. It's funny. I'm using the same setup on most of my Picard era ships, with some differences, but whatever I do, some loadouts will just not equip. So you have to go to the ship selector in Earth Space Dock or wherever you are closer to, and do this manually. I find it a bit obnoxious, but on the other hand, there's not much you can do about it. So, boing, 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 boing. Hello, Mr. Ship Selector. Are you able to select and equip my stuff? No, you can't. Very well. We'll just... You see, it's the same equipment that's here, and it's just a matter of moving it from one ship to the other, and honestly, everything is the same. I don't understand why it's not equipping stuff between certain ships. There doesn't seem to be any logical reason why it's not working, but it's not working. Go back to this ship because it usually equips everything without issue. I still don't know why some ships will equip things and the others will just always cause trouble. I see, now it equipped everything. And why is that like that? I have no clue. This has been reported numerous times. I've reported it myself. I know some people who reported this as well. On their end, issue remains unfixed. The team is more interested in bringing more ships into the game. Yeah, so Stargazer, the USS Stargazer NCC 82893, the same one as we saw on Picard Season 2. I don't think we've ever seen this ship in Season 3. Powerful vessel, although not as powerful as probably my other ships. It's considered to be a command cruiser. It's not a technically heavy cruiser or anything like it, but I do like the way this ship has been designed. Overall, not just for the game, but the way this ship looks like in on the show. It just is pristine thing of beauty. 4 nacelles in the new style that was required to maintain unanimous style between ships of different classes of cruisers. Integrated secondary hull with the kinda forward-facing saucer section that resembles the style of the Sovereign class, but 4 nacelles that invoke that nostalgic feel of the old Stargazer, but with refinement, with modern technological take. Probably one of my favorite ships of the season 2 of Picard. Just looks beautifully in space, and it's a marvel to look at, and it just performs well. I'm using the Constitution 3 skin on it, so the impulse engines will be looking orange rather than red pinkish, but I do like this skin just as well as the Canon one, the Sagan class. Canon skin. I might actually swap it to the Sagan. It is a bit more shiny and it looks a little bit differently, although that changes the style of the nacelles and they are a bit differently colored as well, so I guess it's a matter of acquired taste. I think there's something majestic about this ship class and style. The way she looks and the way she behaves in space. Originally captained by Captain Christopher Rios as soon as it embarked on its maiden voyage. I think it wasn't supposed to be utilized for quite some time, but eventually it was. Yeah, quite a good looking ship. Very special. The unique style weapons, the unique style windows, what am I talking about? Weapons are standard issue using the Protostar weapons. This is a temporal starship, so temporal / command. Its primary specialization is command, but it has temporal seating, which I'm using for certain abilities here. So the gravimetric conversion, which is a shield heal, quite a large one. Physical damage with entropic redistribution. It causes physical damage to enemies, ignoring shields completely. And causal reversion, which is a hull heal, which also causes some amount of steel damage, or like hull points from the enemy. Plus 3 abilities from the command specialization, the suppression barrage 3, concentrate firepower 2, and overwhelm emitters 3. What this last one does is actually also steal shields to your own advantage, so it's an additional shield heal in case you don't have enough of shield heals from the other abilities. I am also using Excelsior 2 experimental power redistributional console. It mixes auxiliary phaser beam array with overload at will, which is like a mixture of beamfire will and beam overload all together, with increased firepower and randomization of the enemy targets. Quite a powerful ability, and it enhances firepower. What should I run for this one? Could try running one of these. I wanted to run Guillotine and Leviathan. I wish we could get Leviathan and Jupiter Eratus in different difficulty than normal, but apparently it's too difficult. Meanwhile, we got Guillotine for half the lifespan of the other two I mentioned, and it already has advanced and I think elite difficulty, so it's kind of weird what's the decision making behind it. Wait a while until something queues up. Wow, takes a while. Okay, we haven't had this one pop up. There you go, defensive starbase 1. Isn't ever appropriate for the ship, but I just want to see and show how she looks like in space.
Listen up. The war has not been going well for the Federation, and the Klingons are advancing to our position.
Yes, yes, wrong. Well, whatever you say. Her accent is really irritating. Oh, I wish these blobs weren't a thing. I hate the way this is delivered. Go away from me, Kobayashi Mario. I hate your little blobs. You want to fly Space Barbie and your ship gets covered in so much stuff you can barely see it during the combat. You'd think that there could be a mode, like photo mode, where you disable all of these elements, including the green hues and all the other ability visuals from your ship. That the ship, you can see just a ship and its weapons and nothing else. Maybe just shields when they react to something. But you have to see all of it applied to your ship like glue. I don't need to see it. Like I can see my abilities here. I know which abilities are triggered. I don't need to see those effects on my vessel. I want to see the vessel itself. But there's not much you can do about it. It is just as it is. About the, well, someone might ask about the torpedoes. These are the advanced torpedoes. I will show them off in a second what they are exactly. They are just photon torpedoes. They don't have any special modifiers or abilities. They just pack a standard photon torpedo punch. But if you want to be accurate to what they look like more or less on screen by recent standards, then you have to look at these. They are advanced photon torpedo launchers, standard kinetic damage. They don't have any specific modifiers. I just use them for visuals and just slight overall kinetic firepower damage, but nothing that spectacular. They're not comparable to Maelstrom torpedoes. I just use them for visual accuracy for Picard era starships because their phases were like that, and their torpedoes were standard red torpedoes with the sound which they have currently in the game. They are obtainable if you own, I think, any version of the Discovery Constitution variant. So it might be legendary, it might be I think the mirror warship as well. They might be just a standard miracle worker, Disco Connie. They will become reclaimable item as well as the advanced phasers that come with the same ship. They have the era-appropriate visuals and sound for... Well, it is a bit confusing because standard red photon torpedoes is the most expected visual, but for whatever reason the photon torpedoes in Picard Season 3 look more like Strange New Worlds photon torpedoes. I think they just stuck to this visual because it's the most agreeable, it just looks right. So they enable them to be in the game, so people who run cannon builds that look accurately, and with that visual accuracy they also perform appropriately. Same goes to these phases. The protostar phaser beams look closest to how they looked on the Picard 2 last episodes. The finale and the episode before, I think it was titled Fox.
An evacuation ship is launching. Give them cover. The Klingons are regrouping again. Get into position to prepare for the next assault. Here come the Klingon battleships. Keep
There is also a variant of the Sagan. It's not the Sagan, I think the class is named differently. It practically is just two double nacelle with just the top nacelles above the ship and no bottom nacelles at all, which is also a variant that we've seen. That was in season 3. They were patrolling Jupiter Station, I think, and the Fleet Museum, which was the old space dock, that was moved to a different location.
An evacuation ship is launching. Give them cover.
There might be some ads running through. I don't think I can switch them off entirely considering Twitch's current policies, but if they will pop up, I apologize. Try not to talk too much during that period.
Who's about to send Nita Bay? Draw off some of those enemy ships?
There we go. There isn't a boss encounter at the end, you just defeat the final wave, and that's the end of the task force. What's funny is that in Poland, the Prodigy Star Trek Prodigy animated show is it's not available on Netflix. It goes through Sky/Showtime platform, which is a separate VOD platform. It has its own stuff, and what I find quite funny is that they titled it in my language in Polish as Star Trek Protostar, except Oh, so it's the same thing for you. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that they titled it not Star Trek Prodigy, but Star Trek Protostar, which kind of defeats the point because Protostar um is something. Well, I can change the English dub, so that's weird. The Protostar is only for one season. The second season is happening on Voyager, so I think it's happening on Voyager A. So it kind of defeats the point of keeping it on that way. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense at all why they changed the title for local viewers. I know Prodigy doesn't exactly mean anything specific, but like changing the name, you don't have to change the title. Yeah, they don't know how to translate Prodigy. Well, they can learn English and then translate it, you know. Or don't translate it at all, like, not everything has to have its name. I just don't get it. Some things, like, they didn't have to translate Avatar. They didn't translate it. Why translate the title? It's like they did the same thing with Tomb Raider Anniversary when they translated the ski on. There is no word ski on in subtitled version of Tomb Raider Anniversary. They translated the word ski on. And it's called something, a fancy ancient naming for a child or a descendant. You see, they call this Star Trek phenomenon. Yeah, that's great. That's ridiculous too. And we have new class of vessel that is reminiscent of the Constitution refit, I think, mostly. From Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Constitution 3, or Neo Constitution. Vessel that is more exploratory and science driven, but capable of quite few tactical encounters as well. Looks amazing, plays amazing. It is a miracle worker, so it's not exactly tactically oriented. But she's still capable of doing a lot in space combat scenarios. Oh my god, can this stupid thing just go away? Unsave changes. Ugh. The most obnoxious thing. Yeah, this ship has a very unique look. It looks like a Constitution, but also kind of like the Excelsior with the hidden deflector. And the shape of the secondary hull, extremely overpowered. Impulse engines and similar nacelles, warp nacelles to the Sagan class. They are literally almost the same, except they are a bit shorter. And they do have internalized Bassard collectors that, if you look closely, you have to look really closely. I don't think I can even. Maybe I can. Nope. What was the command for it? Let me see. Where's the command I had? I had it saved. Oh, there you go. I was almost close. There you go. You look close enough. On the inside of the nasal covers, you can see that there are two. I don't know how to describe them. Two Prasad collectors that are rotating inside of it. They are rotating quite slowly. They resemble the old school TOS era rotating nasal basalt collectors. Except they're doubled. There are two of them. One on top, one on the bottom. And they will slowly rotate inside. You can kind of see them frontally a little bit better. I think it's a quite nice little detail. So yeah, there you go. A close-up of the Constitution 3. And this had to be a science vessel initially, but if I remember correctly, it has undergone a certain number of refits post the events of Picard Season 3, making it a bit more tactically capable, so it can defend itself a little bit better than it could originally. But the class hasn't undergone any visual changes as far as I know. It's just as it was. This field of view actually allows you to see those little particles when you're in full impulse and moving slowly behind the ship. I like it, this little detail. You can also notice that the warp nasal plasma covers are also animated accurately like they are on the ship in the show, so that's a nice little detail touch. There we go, back to normal field of view. I like that you can change it. I've also been playing around with the demo record. I do have a plan to do something of a series of films describing each ship from an inside canon perspective, but that's something I will need to get to slowly as I work through the software. I'm not too familiar with the demo record, how it behaves and how it works, so it's gonna take me a bit to make proper material to make it look the way it's supposed to. But yeah, it's a thing you can do. You can record your ship, you can make camera flybys that will make close-ups and stuff that you normally can't do because the camera is fixed next to the ship. So I do like that ability to maybe not super make super dynamic shots, but they can give you a bit more insight into the details of how the ship looks like from a better close-up, basically. But yeah, that's a nice touch. What about that guillotine? Can we run it? I'm gonna repeat the same stuff. Can run a counterpoint as well. The ship is a miracle worker with a pilot seating. So that allows you to have 3 pilot seats if you need them. These powered abilities I'm using is the pilot team, which gives you speed and turn rate, defensive rating, immunity to placate and to movement debuffs. And attack pattern lambda, which gives you additional accuracy, perception. Enemies in range will lose 35 of accuracy rating. They will lose their perception ability and will be there's a chance to confuse and placate them. So they will not be able to target your ship, which in performance, that gives you that additional edge of being a bit less targetable for your enemies. Miracle Worker abilities, I'm using Exceed Rated Limit 3. That is something of an improvement to your fire rate and power. It does hinder you with electrical damage for some time. Oh, we got a match. Counterpoint, so we'll be fighting Terran ships defending Deep Space Nine. The story for that task force operation is that Terran Empire, an evil faction, an evil alternative to Starfleet, is actually found a means of attacking our prime universe. Our prime universe is Deep Space Nine. They will try to weaken the defenses of Deep Space Nine, try to bring more starships into the offense, and when they fail, they will bring their equivalent of Deep Space Nine, as it was originally named Terek Nor, a full-blown combat battle station, looking exactly like Deep Space Nine, except a bit more tactically oriented, commanded by Admiral Lita. Let's see how that performs. Just lost someone. Mirroring the events of Star Trek Picard Season 3, the ship is equipped with Battle Cloak, so we can cloak during combat. When needed, becomes a quite nimble vessel that can bypass enemy defenses and hit them from behind. Quite useful. certain types of TFOs work best if you have a battle cloak. These red sparkles surrounding the ship are the electrical damage, which is a penalty for use of exceed rated limits. It does allow some of the energy to just jump all over the ship and cause slight damage, but electrical damage isn't that hindering, so we're not bothered. The second wave is just all about closing portals and making sure that less amount of ships pass through. The more portals you close, the better. And of course, the better reward marks you will get. What's interesting about the armaments of the Constitution 3 is that it uses both phaser strips and well, normal emitters like the old school the motion picture era starships. So the coverage is quite interesting. Stop holding me like this, it's rude. And you are going to regret it. You're gonna be done with this phase in 40 seconds. And here comes the Tarak Nor, the equivalent of Deep Space Nine. They're breaking through the barrier between universes and they're bringing them here.
Surrender to the Terran Empire.
As seen on the picture here. And we don't like Lita coming over for unannounced visits, so we will kick her in the head for a bit. As a science vessel and science captain, I have the ability to bring on a photonic fleet. Once they're not as powerful and deadly, they are able to generate photonic explosions and photonic phaser fire, which does cause damage to the enemies. Photonic Fleet 3. The only downside is that it has a cooldown of 4 minutes, so shorter TFOs will not benefit too much from it if we have extremely powerful enemies, but it will still perform somewhat. They should fall in a few moments.
You are fools to oppose us. Make repairs! We've conquered everyone else in our
Almost down.
Yours will fall. DS9 to Alliance forces. Terrox Nor has been disabled. The Emperor. Crush.
The main goal, besides defending Deep Space Nine and making it sustain as little damage as possible, is also gathering teams, assault teams that will be transported back to Terra Nora. Now, being down the assault team, you will be attacked because your shields are down. So the best way is to engage polarized hull. Dang it. I hate his ability. If you ever see a Mobius temporal destroyer, kill it. Kill it with extreme prejudice before it engages an ability that freezes your ship. This is an ability that comes from a console and you can use it on your own, but less effective against NPCs than when they activate it on their end. Here comes the last phase. They're bringing dreadnoughts. ISS Paradox. I think it's a Wells class as well, and I think it's a Venture, ISS Venture as well. Yeah, Venture's over there. It's a Galaxy class Dreadnought variant. And here they go, blow up they went.
Terok Nor has been sent back to the mirror universe.
As you can see, Deep Space Nine did have suffer some damage, but it has no substantial effect or recollection onto the actual starship, or I mean starbase. You don't see these often. The Vulcan ship from Star Trek Lower Decks. It's huge, but lacks in windows. But then again, Vulcans don't like windows. They don't need to look outside. They just need sensors and facts, don't they? I still wanted to run guillotine. So hard to get that one to pop. Oh, look at the Odyssey class. I think it's just a standard one. No, it's there in Lexington as well. God, that ship just looks so good now. Now that it's exactly the same model as Odyssey Enterprise that we saw, sadly being decommissioned in the Picard season 3 finale. They probably disconnected. Just pure logic. Hey Frag, how you doing? Finally got myself around to play a little bit of Star Trek Online. Yeah, just pure logic, you know, logic extremists and all that. Yeah, Vulcans do like their logic. Just sat waiting for a train. Oh, where are you going? Going home from work or having a trip? Ah, Picard season 3. What a wonderful season that was. Little trip to sort something. Oh, that's cool. Sounds simple enough. Oh, this bug is so annoying. Why can't you just work? Why can't loadouts do what they're expected to? Disappointing. No, that's not disappointment, you know. Sometimes you just got to run an errand or two and you gotta get what you need to get. It's so bloody difficult to have engines on the ship. Without the engines, I can't even move. I mean, I can on thrusters, but they will be. Oh, there you go. And we'll never understand why this bug is here. It didn't get on with Picard at all. You didn't watch it at all. Oh my goodness. You know, first two seasons are like, eh. Like, the first one is dreadful, the second one is like 50-50, and the third one is just exactly what we wanted from the very beginning of it. No, you did. You just detested it. But did you watch the season 3? Oh my god, now it's going to be stuck at learning. Ugh. And you still didn't like it. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with you? Season 3 was exactly everything we wanted. I mean, I always thought I wanted everything that Season 3 gave us. I mean, it could do a few things better, but still. Enterprise was just killed before her in her prime. Oh, good. The game just got stuck on loading. Any day now. Yeah, the first season was unbearable in Enterprise, but everything that came later on was quite good. Especially the third and the fourth one. I just can't bear the fact that they just were cut in their prime. But we're really getting the character interactions better, and everything was just like getting to some serious shit, and then they just killed it. They weren't given a chance to get a proper run through. Oh my god, why? Why? What did I do to you, game, today? They play you too much? They change too many ships? What is your problem? Ugh. Oh, I thank you. I will probably have a wee woo to just... Oh, ha, great. I've been removed from matchmaking because I didn't respond, even though I was during a loading screen unable to respond to it. That's lovely. If anyone tells me that this game is great, well, I mean, it's great, but it has issues. Big issues. Most of them just fixable, but, you know, they just don't give a flying fuck. Oh, good. It's not working now. Great. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Good, now that you moved, perhaps we'll be able to move to Celestial. Thank you, please. Nope, I asked for too much. I asked for ability to move my stuff, so it didn't. Now everything is on the Stargazer. Christ. Excuse me, game. Can you do what I want you to? By change the ships I want to. I want to fly Celestial. Is it? If it's not too much trouble. No, I'm asking too much. It's undoable. It's unachievable. It's not gonna work. Yeah, I'm not supposed to. Any day now. Same thing. Oh, now you work. Okay, great. So, chance you move here as well. Oh, now it's confusing the ships I'm having active. Dear Lord. Oh my god. This bug is unbearable. Oh, there we go. Finally. Frickin' finally. We'll never get there. And now I would like to have this unsafe changes thing gone, but no worries. Thanks for dropping in, I appreciate you. Hope you have a safe trip and you do what you need to do. Galaxy, please. Wonder if that will work. Right, since we have the galaxy, the gorgeous, gorgeous galaxy, perhaps we can actually get into one final TFO I'd like to run before I will call it a day for this stream. There is a 50% chance I might stream later in the afternoon, but not for long, and we'll be back to classic Tomb Raider. Now it's still probably one of my favorite TNG designs. Ship just looks so amazing. I wish it was a bit more nimble when it comes to turning in space, but I still don't understand why ships in space have different turn rates. Like ships in space with proper amount of thrusters should be able to turn around and right on the spot, or fly in every direction they want. But for whatever reason, it's just like nope. Every ship is gonna have its own thing. It's kind of weird. But not much you can do about it. You just have to live with what you have. Any moment now, please. Pop up. Might as well launch a patrol in the meantime. And now we're going to be stuck in loading, aren't we?
Getting some unusual readings from
Shut up, Stamets. I really hate your guts.
Watch out. Mokai raiders are fierce.
Oh, now I'm getting guillotine to pop up. Oh well. Though this map is amazing. I don't care for your infinity lockboxes. I don't open lockboxes. Oh, there we go. I grabbed that.
The enemy has started to bring the unicomplex.
Potentially evil creature. I do have a suspicion that the creatures that are helping us in this vessel, Harmony, are potential villains of the story and we don't know it yet. Oh my god, did they extend the briefing? It takes literally a minute already and now it takes a minute and 15 seconds. Oh god. What have we got here? It's a Bortus cube. Oh Jesus, Borgified Bortus cube. Is that a vulture? It is the legendary vulture. That's correct. We have an Excelsior. And what else? Oh, the Aquarius. It's an escort that comes from the Odyssey class, but so far it's been seen to fly solo as well, since it appeared as a separate flying starship. It's not a starship, it's more of a escort, I guess. This one has Riemann vanity shield on it, with green and dark green hues. And that was the Maelstrom torpedo, the event one. I do like that one, it does have a unique look to it. No, Mr. Assimilator, we are not going to be assimilated today. If there's one thing you should know is that Galaxy Class isn't giving up. I can topple quite an enemy. Cursed Blood. No, you're not.
Projecting shield now. Projecting shield now. Stitching angle on shield is fully energized. A force assimilator is attempting to escape. Stop it if you can.
Right. Point 1 secured, moving to the next one.
Shield fully deployed. Stitching angle 3. A second assimilator is attempting to escape. Eliminated. Stitching anchor deployed. Projecting shield now. A Borg assimilator has been destroyed while attempting to flee. Stitching anchor 4 is now fully shielded. A third assimilator is attempting to flee. Do not allow it to do so. Stitching anchor 2 is shielded. Another Borg assimilator is moving to
Ow.
intercept and destroy. Stitching anchor deployed. Projecting shield now. A Borg assimilator has failed to escape. Shield of stitching anchor 6 is fully energized. A Borg assimilator is attempting to escape. Destroy it.
No, you're not.
Confirmation. Escaping Borg assimilator has been destroyed. Destruction of a fleeing Borg assimilator is confirmed. Successful deployment of shield to stitching anchor 5. Borg assimilator on an escape vector. Do not allow it to flee.
There you go, final phase of the encounter.
Observe.
There are
Is disrupting
two
network.
Borg tactical cubes, which are preventing
The
our
tactical
shielding from disrupt the dimensional portal, the vortex that they're trying to pass through to our dimension. We have to destroy them in order for our countermeasures to work. It's like a simple task, but these ships are something else. They are extremely powerful. Very resilient to damage. Requires time to make a dent.
Assimilator was destroyed before.
Now they're really packing a punch, aren't they? And we're done, and we've just hit 2-hour mark. Well, almost exactly. So I think I will end it here. I don't think there's anyone playing Astio that I would like to raid. Galaxy class is a special place in my heart when it comes to designs. Alongside the Intrepid class, I think they're most memorable designs for TNG and Voyager eras. I did enjoy watching both of these shows. I'm definitely going back to rewatch Voyager soon and TNG probably to follow up. The ending of Picard Season 3 was something else. So it was nice to see Galaxy class still managed to pack a punch against quite a powerful enemy. And with this lovely view, this lovely picture here, I'll leave you. Thanks for whoever was watching and lurking, or whoever will decide to go for watch the VOD. Very likely it is going to be on my YouTube. And whoever wants to go for follow or just subscribe to any of my socials are welcome to do so. Or just follow the socials, or just join the Discord, whichever works for you. If you want to stay in touch, want to know when I'm going live, you're welcome to join. There's always plenty of space in my Discord to nerd about Star Trek and starships. Posting pictures on occasion and just chatting about upcoming shows and films and whatnot. Always happy to have you. And yeah, about to log off, and we'll see you guys on the next stream. Live long and prosper, captains, Star Trek fans. Peace and long life to you. I'll see you next time.